morning and welcome back to the morning commute. I hope you are well and I thank you for tuning in. I hope everyone's having a great day. It is a cool 75 degrees outside and we are right on time. This traffic is perfect. Got me a cup of joe here. No breakfast, no lunch. I'm gonna have to figure something out today. What are your plans for today? You guys at home, relaxing, hanging out? Let's go see what's on the radio today.
They transform lives with patience and a passion that knows no bounds.
Next week. Now it does seem that things are sped up. There does seem to be some progress. He posted on social media saying that it was a privilege to extend the deadline. For President Trump, though, the issue is that this trading relationship with the EU, he thinks it's unfair.
Later this morning, President Trump will take part in a traditional wreath-laying ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery on this Memorial Day. A lot of people in the U.S. are traveling over the long holiday weekend, as NPR's Joel Rose reports.
The forecast from AAA is that we will see a record this holiday weekend with 45 million Americans traveling at least 50 miles from home. That is expected to break a record that has stood for 20 years. And it's mostly because of a record number of Americans driving this weekend. Drivers will find gas prices at their lowest levels on Memorial Day since 2021, according to Gas Buddy. Air travel is not quite expected to break the all-time record, but it is still forecast to be up about 12% compared to the levels before the COVID pandemic, according to AAA.
That's NPR's Joel Rose. This is NPR News.
And in a check of news from KJZZ at 5:32, in 1963, President John F. Kennedy designated May as Senior Citizens Month. It was later renamed Older Americans Month. It's another way to shine a light on a group of people or issues. But decades later, there are a lot of awareness initiatives. KJZZ's Kathy Ritchie has more.
When it comes to raising awareness of any issue, there are competing priorities.
May is crowded. There's no question about that. But just in May alone, we've got mental health awareness. We have skin cancer awareness. We have motorcycle awareness.
Nancy Gray is a professor in the Department of Marketing at ASU's W.P. Carey School of Business. She says many of these awareness initiatives have history, like Mental Health Awareness Month, which was established in 1949.
And it was to fight stigma and to promote treatment.
But do these efforts work? It depends. If it piques our interest, we might pay attention. It could also come off as disingenuous if a brand appears to be jumping on the bandwagon. Kathy Ritchie, KJZZ News, Phoenix.
You can hear this story again and find all of our news on our website. Just head over to kjzz.org. And you're listening to Morning Edition.
23-year-old Joe Strogas explores questions about relationships and romance in a podcast. She's just won the NPR College Podcast Challenge. Next time on Here and Now.
And Here and Now coming up this morning at 10. We'd like to thank Gary in Sun City West for donating his 2016 Tesla to KJZZ. We take all vehicles, and if they're mechanically sound, we get top dollar from private buyers making the most of your donation. Just go to cars.kjzz.org.
Rio Salado College, in partnership with the City of Tempe, is offering the Tempe Promise Program, free college tuition for eligible Tempe residents age 25 and older, including a student support stipend. More information at riosalado.edu/Tempe Promise.
It's 71 degrees in Phoenix at 5:34.
Good morning, I'm Martinez. Soccer is believed to have started in 19th century England, but a Scottish historian says maybe not. Last month, he identified what he rate for 60 months with approved credit. That's right, big discounts or low rates, all at Earnhardt Buick GMC. Or take advantage of their full digital shopping options with No Bull Express at EarnhardtBuickGMC.com. They'll treat you like family, and that ain't no bull. We are professional grade.
Most new vehicles include a $998 No Bull protection package. As an added benefit, offers include all applicable incentives on select models. APR terms limited through GM Financial. 0% for 60 months is $1667 per month per 1,000 financed. Based on approved credit, not all will qualify. Plus tax, title, license, and $599 doc fee. See dealer for details. Offer ends 6/2/25.
We are America's First News. This morning with Gordon Deal.
us on this Memorial Day Monday, May 26th. Gordon Deal with Nicole Murray coming up this half hour. Working in the family biz is cool again. Also, Disney bargains in Abu Dhabi. And doing right by fallen soldiers in Ohio. We'll have that story in about 20 minutes. Well, a story in the Wall Street Journal says the young generation is taking a bigger interest in joining the family business, spurred by a cooling labor market that is making it more difficult to land entry-level jobs. Analysis from Julie Bauke, career strategist known as Julie on the job. Julie, it's like plan B.
Yikes. It makes sense. Okay, so young people are finding that it's hard to find an entry-level job. It's hard to find an entry-level job that is challenging, that is what I want to do. And so for people who work for families who own businesses, it is becoming maybe a landing spot, a place to start. And in a lot of cases, mom or dad like, yes, great, junior's coming in, you can move the whole company to them. And so it becomes an option because in a lot of cases, it can say with mom and dad, but junior can't find anything else. And so they look back and go, okay, well, mom and dad have been pushing me to join the family business for a long time. Maybe I'll give it a try because I have nothing else to do. And so it's in a lot of cases, unfortunately, it's going to be a fallback option that, that gives you that start in life. But those of us who've been around for a while have seen how there are so many ways that can fail. There are so many ways that can go off the rails, and you damage your family. Let's say you go there for a few years, like, this isn't for me, and you go to leave. And what is that going to do to your relationships with your family? Is that something discussed? And then there's also that temptation on the part of parents to give their kids too much, to promote them ahead of other people beyond their capabilities, which creates resentment among the workforce. And I knew a woman who hired her two sons, gave them extremely big titles, and paid them a lot, and all they did was run errands for her.
Oh, wow.
And when one of them wanted to leave, they came to us, we talked to them, and said, you've got nothing. You have your title and your salary compared to what you actually did are so far apart.
Jeez.
And at that point, you're used to living on a really nice salary and a title. And so you somehow have convinced yourself that you've earned that. And it was a mess. I don't know whatever happened to them, actually. But as parents, you bring in that whole parent-child relationship and all the stuff it's just so fraught with danger that when I read this article, I was like, oh man, this is trouble waiting to happen.
Jeez.
Unless it's done with sincere interest and understanding and openness on both sides. It's a trend.
Speaking with Julie Bauke, career strategist we know as Julie on the job, and we're talking about more and more young people jumping into the family business, mostly because they can't find anything right now. We certainly listed a lot of cons. Are there any pros here to be had?
If you've got a child who's been involved in the family business, they've been working there in the summers and they know the business, they're probably going to care about the business more than somebody you might bring in from the outside. And there is the potential, because we're also seeing, and I think part of what's driving this is, as business owners are getting to the point where they really want to retire, succession planning is a real issue. Finding someone you can trust to hand your business over to or to sell your business to. And you know your family, and so it creates a succession plan and the ability for you to retire.
Thanks, Julie. Julie Bauke, career strategist known as Julie on the job. Coming up next on This Morning, America's First News, when overseas Disney is cheaper than Orlando.
Still going forward, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The power of Dell AI with Intel inside is transforming the world of pro sports. Teams can see curveballs coming with predictive analytics. Coaches can use AI insights to help players improve their shots in real time. And fans can get more out of every winning moment with AI-enhanced replays. See how Dell Technologies with Intel inside can power your wins at Dell.com/win.
Your opportunity is what Michigan is all about. The opportunity to do more. The opportunity to connect with the best talent. The opportunity for people of all backgrounds to grow and expand their business. The opportunity to live and work in a state where paychecks go further. The opportunity is now, and is right here in Michigan. Visit MichiganBusiness.org to discover all the ways the Michigan Economic Development Corporation can help your business thrive. Hey, it's Jess, co-founder of Bodify, your fat elimination experts. Have you done a cool sculpting consult before and it was just too pricey to pursue? Well, listen up. The game has changed. Cool Sculpting radically changed their pricing model, and we get to pass 100% of those savings directly to you. Believe me, this is huge. Trust the experts who have done 42,000 treatments and guarantee results. Book your free Cool Sculpting Discovery appointment today. Go to freezemeaz.com. That's freezemeaz.com.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
On this Memorial Day Monday, could a Disney vacation in Abu Dhabi be a bargain compared with the American equivalent? A breakdown from Charles Passy, reporter at MarketWatch. Charles, what did you look at?
Well, as people may already know, Disney is planning a theme park in Abu Dhabi. And, you know, the natural assumption, I think, is, wow, that's going to cost a fortune, because we think of Abu Dhabi and kind of that broader region as being a pricey place. I mean, it's where all the oil comes from and everything like that. But in fact, the reverse could be true. This might actually be, relatively speaking, a bargain compared to visiting a Disney theme park in California or Florida. And it's kind of was an unexpected find. We really didn't know what we were going to find when we went into it.
Wow. Give us prices here. What'd you come up with?
Well, we don't actually know the prices yet for Abu Dhabi. I mean, the park has just now been announced, and so it probably will be years before it actually opens. But what we do know is a couple of things. One is that Disney parks outside the U.S., and we're talking France, we're talking Japan, tend to be much cheaper than the parks in the United States. They're basically just kind of going with what the local economy will demand. And while, yes, Abu Dhabi can be a very luxurious place to visit, it actually, you know, has a real kind of middle-class element. And, you know, hotels in Abu Dhabi, you know, I was told this by travel experts, really can be as little as $100 a night. And I went on and checked it myself, and I'm like, wow, I can stay at a pretty decent hotel, far less than I would pay for, say, a hotel in New York City or another major American city. So that suggests that the pricing will end up being probably on on the lower side. What we also know is that Abu Dhabi has a number of theme parks already open. And, for example, they have a SeaWorld in Abu Dhabi. And that SeaWorld, depending on how you want to look at the numbers, that SeaWorld runs about $100 for a general one-day admission. But in fact, if you look at how much it costs to go to the SeaWorld in Orlando, it can be as much as $140. So, you are sort of seeing, wow, this really could end up being cheaper. The other thing to keep in mind is that even though this is a Disney-branded park, it is not actually being run, owned, or operated by Disney. It's being done by another company called Miral, which does that. It licenses essentially theme parks from companies like SeaWorld, like Disney. So, Disney, whatever profit pressures Disney may have, that's totally separate here. This is really, Disney's getting essentially what we understand is Disney's probably getting a licensing fee.
Yeah.
Miral is the one that's really going to have to figure out the economics, and they seem to know their market, obviously.
We're speaking with Charles Passy, reporter at Market Watch. The story is called Why Going to Disney's Abu Dhabi theme park may actually be cheaper than visiting Disney World in Orlando. It's still years away, this park in Abu Dhabi. But I thought it was interesting, too, in your story, you said because of the Middle East heat, they might have to think differently about the design.
Yeah, I mean, and even though that sounds like a negative, when I talk to these theme park and travel experts, they're actually very excited about the possibilities. Look, it is blisteringly hot in that region. People do not do daytime activities the same way they might, even I would guess in Orlando. And so what we're hearing is that this park will have to be thought of differently.
Thanks, Charles. Charles Passy, reporter at Market Watch. Coming up next on This Morning, America's First News, using AI for a divorce.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience.
Timing was kind of weird, although we can kind of see it coming.
How does the team? How do the players themselves? I mean, they're the ones that are losing the games. How are they taking it?
Interesting, I checked with a bunch of guys yesterday. They thought the move to fire Buddy was needed, as much as they loved him. I'm surprised at how good their attitude has been, considering how bad the team has been. Sure, they're frustrated. They're embarrassed. But they keep hanging in there, and I got to give them credit for it. I would be pulling my hair out by now.
So you would think then, Patrick, that if the team is this bad, that fans are not going, right? They're just deciding not to spend their money on such a bad team. Is that the case in Denver?
It's not. They're about middle of the pack in terms of overall attendance. Just had the Yankees in this weekend, so they had huge crowds. You got to remember, Coors Field is kind of a baseball paradise for people, and Rockies draw from all over. People come into town and book their vacations and decide, let's go to a Rockies game to see the Cubs or the Dodgers or the Yankees, whoever. It's kind of a quandary. The Rockies are terrible, but they always draw.
Yeah, and Coors Field is a beautiful place to watch a baseball game. I've seen a lot of games at Coors Field. Any hope, though? That's the thing. I mean, for baseball, it's a daily game, and sometimes you don't want to, maybe be too sad over one loss. But is there any hope for the Rockies this year, next year, 10 years from now?
Not this year. I crunched the numbers the other day, and they are pretty much going to clinch their third consecutive 100-loss season. Everybody thought the timeline might be that 2026 would be the year the Rockies might be near 500, maybe even be a contender, but that looks a long way off now. They'll have lost their 7th consecutive losing season this year, and I can see number 8 coming around the bend.
Yeah, and it's like the ownership, right? I mean, why don't they do anything? Got about 20 seconds. Can they do anything? Is it possible?
Yeah, they can. They could revamp the front office. They could bring in some outside blood to get a new perspective on things, but so far they've been hesitant to do so.
Patrick Saunders is the Denver Post Rockies reporter. Patrick, thanks a lot.
Oh, you're sure welcome. Thank you.
It's Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm Martinez.
And I'm Michelle Martin.
And you're listening to Morning Edition on KJZZ 91.5 on a Monday morning. Memorial Day is a time to honor the men and women who died from families that have lost service members. That's at 6:15 on KJZZ 91.5.
With the stroke of a pen, you can make a lasting impact in your community and on the future of public radio in Arizona. Include KJZZ as a beneficiary in your will or trust. For more information, contact your financial advisor or visit legacy.kjzz.org.
And at 5:49, let's head over to London now and get a check of today's top international stories.
Good morning, I'm Pete Ross at the BBC. Authorities in Gaza say overnight Israeli airstrikes have killed at least 54 people. At least 35 died in a school sheltering displaced people in Gaza City, says the BBC's Yolan Nell in Jerusalem.
There are some really harrowing images.
Good morning.
Thank you for waiting. May I help you?
Yes, could I have a number 4?
Number 4, what would you like to drink?
I will have a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Anything else?
That'll be it. Thank you.
You'd like to round it up for the Ronald McDonald House today?
No, thank you.
781 of the second one will be your total. Thank
Okay.
you.
Morning.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, you too. Bye. Okay.
Going to be saying, what are good cross-examination questions? What are good, what should I be looking for? What should, and people are going to be able to be prepped very quickly. I think they're going to be much more eloquent in the way that they ask questions because of the fact that you're going to be able to use AI. I just think it's going to make the practice of law in probably many different professions much smoother. But in regards to evidence at this point, I don't know what they'll be using because it's just so, I wouldn't have pictured AI being something anyone would be using in the future, but I definitely can't see it being a tool that's going to be utilized. Just time will tell.
Yeah, I guess the question should be asked in your profession like it is in any, including mine. I mean, is AI ultimately going to replace lawyers?
So there is that fear. In matrimonial law, I doubt it because I think people are not going to want to necessarily be, crying about their divorces to a bot. But who knows? It definitely could happen.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Jacqueline Newman, matrimonial law attorney in New York. Coming up next on This Morning, America's First News, a good deed in Ohio for Memorial Day.
All right, folks, you guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and share our videos. And you guys have a great day.